But let's go back to the year 1978, a time when people like Maestro had huge media hits. You came out with it turned up a huge media hit for you. Tell us about it.
Well, when I came out with Norman, Norman was 1972.
Kind of very confused.
I was contacted to the CNH studios, Don Silas.
Right.
And when the carnival finished, move on to another, but the boss of the studios keep telling me, look, when they believe that Norman was sort of a fluke then, because I couldn't come up with nothing as good as that, you know. And then one day I walked into the studio and I put on the tape, I started to get it, and I started to play 𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐻, and that was it there, you know.
But they were so excited, they didn't want to wait for the Falling Carnival. They felt it was good enough to go.
The first was good enough to go, yeah. The first was good enough to go.
Good enough to go.
𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐻. This was a dream, really. This I elaborated on everything. 𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐻 was 1979. Cool Me Down by Natasha and Simmer Down. All from my pen.
Merchant, when you released 𝐸𝐻𝐻, what kind of response you got from the public?
It was massive.
It was massive.
Yeah, it was massive.
I remember it went to #1 on the local chart.
Yeah, it was massive.
Merchant, over the years you have written some spicy selections and some 𝐔𝐕 selections that were sung by people like 𝐂𝐤 and others, even as recently as Atlantic himself and so on.
Yeah.
But personally, you only sing the positive songs about life, about love. Is there a special reason for that?
Well, yeah, I not too much on the, I don't mind, well, I like theater. Yeah, I like to sing on world affairs, you know, things that draw people attention, you know, from things of concern.
So you try to put on your personality that all positive songs,
Exactly.
building and can make a difference.
Exactly.
But you have no problems in telling songs to crazy and make
Anybody.
I see. Okay. And in terms of writing for non-Californians, I noticed you wrote for Conrad Walton. Are there any other non-Californians you've written for?
Yeah, well, you could call the relaxer non-Californian. The relaxer is not, you know, he's not very up. Yeah, and but it's their talent, there's a special talent to write a song for stuff like Conrad Walton, you know. Even for California like Crazy, it's a challenge, you know, to write for Crazy because you have to pick particular lyrics.
So you write songs tailored for certain Californians?
Yeah, now what happens is sometimes I compose and I come across an idea and a melody and while I'm composing it, I don't see myself in it. I see like Baron or Crazy or Chagalos or...
And you write it to suit it,
you know, and
style.
Right, exactly.
I see. The next selection really by Baron, was it specially written for Baron?
No, well, this was alright, this is simple. No, I got the idea that when I made this song, I keep seeing Baron singing it, you know. I keep seeing the picture of Baron's voice through this, you know. I couldn't give nobody else this song.
Merchant, in your own words, I had a rough old day. I have been brushing shoulders with the law since I was small. Out of that struggle has come a tremendous amount of positive music. Music about life, music about love, and very, very positive songs that convey very, very everywhere. Two in particular, Let No Man Judge and From No Man.
Yeah, it's probably nice. It's after being when I picked up a trouble from the early, I decided to do this song, you know. Always have a tendency of giving a prize to the younger people. Yeah. You told you on making the same mistakes myself, but I hope you would learn from me, my mistakes.
So you hope it's out of your struggle from this?
Yeah.
Merchant, I know you hang out with Crazy a lot. I remember seeing you sharing a cow together.
Yeah.
And you have been associated also with Kenny for a while, and quite a few people you've been close to.
Yeah.
Over the years, you must have had quite a few very, very good friends who would stand by you when you're out of need.
Yeah, well, a few. There are very few, but Trini is one. Yeah, Trini has been good to me in so many different ways. And one or two other debates, Crazy is a exceptionally nice chap to deal with, other than, you know, outside of the Calypso field, with a nice human being, you know.
And what about some non-Calypsonians you'd probably like to mention, who, if you like to mention some of those good friends to you?
Number one, my father constructed termites.
Termite, maybe you can say hello. In studio with us, constructed Termite, a close personal friend of Merchant. Welcome to Caribbean Tempo.
Well, good afternoon to all the people that listen to Tempo. It's nice being here. It's just for the soul that in this kind of uncertainty, the only one who could come down into your life.
I wanted to say to well, you know, my latest problem I had with my sickness and things at the hospital and things. Well, there was one or two people that was very helpful, and I want to say, before I forget, you know, this is not the end of the program yet, but I want to say a special thanks to, especially to Dr. Adu, and all the nurses at the San Fernando General Hospital, and the one or two people that popped in to look for me time after time, you know. I want to say a special good evening.
Good evening, Merchant. Of the 300 artist songs you have written, you have an all-time personal favorite. Do you?
Yeah. The only song I ever really, well, I've written a lot of songs for different artists, and, you know, I felt like I sing myself, but this one is the one that I always will regret giving away. There's one superpower. Tony Barkley.
Merchant, what do you see your role as a writer? Obviously, it is to be positive, is to give a message, to leave something that the youth can follow and aspire to for greater heights.
Always, that is always my idea. I just love to leave something for the people to, you know. When you listen to songs like Think About It, you know, this is a song that I particularly love. I mean, One Superpower is my gem, but this song, Think About It, is a song that I really love. I really love this song, you know.
It's more than thought-provoking.
Yes, it is. You know? This song raises the force, you know.
These tempos and more. Merchant, 1978. At that time, I was an A-level student at St. College in Tinapuna. And I saw you performed in front of the library in Tinapuna on the Eastern Main Road. They had a stage here, you sang Norman. And you went on to sing with the Calypso Review. What did you start with the Review?
Review, I started with Review 1976. 76. I didn't have any record at the time. 76, I sang, first year Review, I sang a song called Dreams of Unity.
Dreams of Unity.
And 1977, I sang a song called Carnival. Spelling out the word Carnival. I put a meaning to each letter in the word Carnival. C for colors, A for, you know. And 1978,
very hit, big time.
Norman is that it.
And that was followed by Umbayao. And things like drums and
Think About the Children and everything.
And so on. How long you stayed with the Review?
Well, a good many years. About 6-7 years or more. Yeah.
And then you went on to the extent.
I went to Spectacular. There was one season that Stalin and Superior opened a thing called 𝐈𝐴. And I made a season there then. A Spectacular, then back to the review.
Back to the review.
Yeah.
You were also associated with businessman William Monroe.
Yeah, he was the producer of this Dr. Toka's album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, and his tent was the Kingdom of the Wizard, which is the same building, Spectacular building. And
which evolved into Masters and
yeah.
Okay, so what was the last year you performed at Tent?
The last year was 1990.
1990.
I did the Kitchener's Review. I sang an album. That's my last album I did. Was an album called Inner Prison. Behind every dark cloud there's a silver lining. So,
are you planning to return to the Tent in 1995?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Something to look forward to. Merchant, 𝐷𝐸 as performed by Designer. I understand you think too highly of that song when you first wrote it.
Well, as a matter of fact, when I composed the song, I wrote it in the last page in the book. And I fold the page. I say, well, oh God, this is going to tell everybody the song, you know. I already got the idea from the stick fighting time, you know, the laugh wave, thing. And then the man that bought the song for me, I had to beg him to buy it, you know, because he didn't want. He said, "You have to motion to a nonsense to tell me here, ratty, what is it?" And when the song did pick up, you know, it was something else, you know.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic response.
Yeah.
Rocking It, one of your more popular numbers. An American pop group did a cover version of that song.
Yeah, I think a group called Africa Bambata or something.
Right. What was the arrangement?
Well, I don't know. I just hear it on the radio. I never know nothing about it. I just hear it. I just hear the group together on the radio. And well, up to now, the copyright hasn't told me anything about it. You know, I don't know what to do about it, but I heard this by mistake on the radio. Yeah.
So what is the normal arrangement? You must be credited with
yeah. Well, I saw the record and the house. I got the credit for it for the song, you know. As the writer, yeah.
What about publishing? They will organize their own publishing.
Yeah, well, I believe so. Yeah.
I see. But did that organization, whether it was PRS or BMI or ASCAP, sent the cut? What is it here? Maybe cut some follow up for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And the music maker by Ricky Jai from the album More Bacchanal.
This is the first. This is the first and only work I ever did for Ricky Jai. As a matter of fact, 𝐷𝐸 is the only thing I ever did for Designer, the first. And the only thing I ever did for Designer. These two artists. It was the first time I ever written anything for them. No?
Music maker, calypso writer, and calypsonian Dennis Franklin Williams, the Merchant in Caribbean Temple, 105 FM. Merchant, anyone in your family who were involved with entertainment, singing, songwriting, your mother, your father, any of your uncles?
Not a soul.
Not a soul involved in the entertainment business?
No.
Never. Do you have any children?
Two. Yes, a boy and a girl.
Are they musically inclined in any way?
Well, not yet. I hope so. I hope so.
It's something motherable.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember chatting with a former head of court, he was in Australia, and he said, anytime you play malt, it should be copywritten because there's poetry and you have to be careful what the kind of conversation you try to carry on because the song might be coming out there. Okay, private conversation. One of my favorites.
This is from the album called Power Play. The song goes to play a couple of tunes about. This was done in London. This whole album was done in London. Simadong, Power Play, Private Conversation. This is a special song for me.
Merchant, you have written For the Pan, Panic, Plenty Loving, No Money, No Pan, Sweet Pan, Pan in Your Pan, Pan in Danger, Special Brew, and play Mr. Panis play. Your association with 𝐔𝐕.
Well, I'm a Panis.
You are Panis.
I'm a Panis, yeah.
What do you play? Tenor?
Tenor.
Yeah, tenor.
Yeah, yeah. I always like to do something, you know, well, 1985 when I sang Pan in Danger, that song came about. It was one afternoon, I was heading home and I bought a paper, I bought one of the weeklies in the Punch. And when I got home, I started reading, and there was this article in the papers about a steel band from Chanapuna called Klondike. They were runners-up in the Spanish League, called one of the Spanish League. But the pictures on the papers were the demolition squad breaking down the shed and the fans in the road. And so after reading the article, I asked her what boys are in danger.
And that has happened several times before and after.
Yeah.
In Belmont and so on.
So that is how Pan in Danger came about. But I always like to do something for the fans. Well, for the past 2 or 3 years, me and Ray Hallman have been working together.
Special Brew
for Tokyo, and then this year we worked together for phase 2, Panic.
But do you think from 85 to now, Pan is still in danger, or we are increasing the situation?
Slowly.
Yeah,
but it's still because if you walk up to Junium Avenue, I think right now you're still
right. Outside cut.
Yeah, pandemonium, still, you know, still in the road and the rocks and everything, you know.
But a problem that I have personally, and I've thought of this forum and several other forums, is that from time to time I entertain friends from the islands and abroad. And on a given night, if someone, a foreigner from that would like to hear pan music, it isn't a place you can take one to.
No.
In fact, the mass camp is making a gallant effort to take this our culture, but unfortunately, pan is not part of their agenda.
No.
And I think that is not the
all of that is, when I say Pan in Danger, I'm talking about, I'm not only meaning about breaking down the pan shed, I'm talking about the whole thing in general, you know.
In the business. And for instance, in the second piece, in the era of the combos, when you go to the bazaars and the parties, they had a pan sign. I remember, the Independence Club, you tunes will be in the corner and the audience, and the DJ will stop and they play. Now, the pan is absent from parties and stuff like that. Do you think we should work at
bringing it back? Yeah, definitely. I think so, because the pan is missing, you know, all the sets you go to, you know, the DJs and, you know, you don't see the pan at all, and that bad.
Except for the Odd Music Festival, there's nothing really outside of Panorama. A couple of weeks ago, the Woodbrook Festival Committee had a lovely function to mark independence in Adams Square. They featured all the lads, Woodbrook bands, and it was wonderfully attended. And the general consensus was to need more steel bands. Because in fact, I met a friend who had lost contact with someone I studied with in Jamaica, and he lived in Montserrat, and he lost contact because all his documents were lost because of the hurricane. And he happened to hear about that event. He came to the square, and he heard my voice, and Sarah Hamilton, he was here for a conference, stuff like that. But we definitely need pan being played. Maybe the tourism authority, Pan Big or someone could use part of that government grant to ensure that there is pan presence at the banks, at the malls, and whatever there are school bazaars and get-togethers and so on.
Yeah, because definitely what Stalin, that is why I always quote Black Stalin in one of my pan collectors. Stalin had a collector that there's one of these mornings, if we don't play with him, one of these days we're going to wake up and hear pan come from Germany. I went about to collect them from Russia. You know?
Pan in danger, true or false?
True. Pan in danger, which I believe still is. Special Brew by GPT, which was played by Tokyo, and play Mr. Panis play 1994 at the Posto.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. On the line, Roy Chief. Roy, are you hearing me?
Yeah?
Welcome to Cruising. Welcome to Carrigan Temple.
I'd like to say hello to Dennis.
Hello, Roy.
It's a privilege from God to grow up with somebody like you. And last night I was going to a tape that you gave to me since the 90s with Pan in the Savannah.
Oh.
When I came to you for Sweet and You,
Right.
Took on the Move.
Took on the Move, right.
Yeah. So I've been listening to the program and it's such a beautiful feeling to have grown up with somebody like you.
Right. Well, I came here, you know. I came here, you know.
But you can't say it always have to be you, Dennis.
Roy, the early days, your association with Merchant, you must have seen some latent talent in him. What part he played in his early development as a writer, as a Californian?
Well, Dennis and myself grew up in the orphanage. And I was in the music band, and Dennis was just around. And while I was living in New York in 1970, I started to hear works by him. And I was very happy to know that it was somebody that I grew up with, who I didn't have a clue was going to turn out to be such a great person.
I see. The Roy Chief of the Roy Chief All Stars. Well, Roy, thanks for calling us, and we are happy that you are enjoying, since you were a vital part of that early development of Merchant. Merchant, any questions for us?
Oh, well, I think the same thing. It's an honor for me to know that I grew up with Roy, you know. I was always talk about Roy. We pick marbles, little boy together. And, you know, it's just great, you know, knowing that we both grew up together.
Yeah, man. Yeah. One love, Dennis.
Yes, right.
And stay strong, Papa.
Yeah, all right, man.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, man.
Merchant, you alluded to the fact earlier that one of your favorite pastimes is going to the movies.
Yeah.
And in earlier interviews, you said that the song Norman was in fact...
yeah, it was a movie with I think Red Fox. I never actually saw the movie. I saw the preview at the Sun Cinema one night, and after the cinema over, I was on a particular road, and while going home, this Norman thing keeps staying in my head. So when I reached home, I got my guitar, and I started. Just for the song as well, Norman could have been a friend of mine. I agree with a good friend of mine, ordinary fellow. Went away, you know, and come back. We ended the stick and all this kind of thing.
It was actually your very first recording?
Yeah, very first.
Tell me how you went about getting that particular selection on what?
Well, what happened is I went to KNX Studios and with Brother Mudada. I did some songs for Brother Mudada. I think around the same time that Maestro died. And they contacted Mudada to take Maestro's place there, you know, with the contract there. And I did some songs for Mudada. And he had it in a cassette, so, you know, we went to KNH for a gentleman named Mr. Arnold Dupree, you know, to listen to them. But Mudada had the songs on the cassette. I had one song, a verse and a chorus of a song that I was making in between the songs on the cassette. And why the cassette playing is what happened is I went to KNX Studios and with Brother Mudada. I did some songs for Brother Mudada. I think around the same time that Maestro died. And they contacted Mudada to take Maestro's place there, you know, to fill the contract there. And I did some songs for Mudada. And we had it in a cassette, so, you know, we went to KNH for a gentleman named Mr. Arnold Dupree, you know, to listen to them. But Mudada had the songs on the cassette. I had one song, a verse and a chorus of a song that I was making in between the songs on the cassette. And while the cassette playing, the song came across. That is the flip side of Norman, a song called Come and Take It. Right. And Mr. Dupree said, well, look, this is a nice song. Why, you know, let's get a next good one with this. And I went on to come up with Norman, you know. And that was it there, I started recording from then on to now. It was sound familiar,
Okay, Norman was an overwhelming success at the 10th and on the airways. However, because of the positive side you tried to portray and without knocking any political or any minority group, you have decided not to perform this song as part of your repertoire.
No, well, I hardly, people call for it sometimes when I'm at camp hunting and performing live. People call for it, but I honestly don't remember the lyrics too well again, because I hardly ever sing it,
But it is part of the history of merchant. The song that launched Dennis Franklin Williams
definitely.
As not only a writer but as a collector.
Definitely.
Merchant, you already mentioned that you were quite close to people like Trini and Crazy, and you mentioned the word Stalin.
Yeah, Stalin is the person that put on stage. When the review was Princess Villain. Yeah, Leroy Carley's. I have a great respect and admiration for Stalin.
And people like Maestro and Spoiler, I understand you admired.
Yeah, Maestro for one. Maestro, I learned a lot from Maestro. And guys like Valentino. Yeah, Valentino. I learned a lot from these fellas,
And in the Californians of the 90s and even the 80s, people like Super Blue, I understand.
Oh yeah, well, Super Blue is, I think, I just call him the Michael Jackson of Trinidad and Tobago.
The Maestro Memorial too currently taking place. I understand one of your songs will be featured.
Yes, well, the only female singer that in the prayer this thing is has singing a song belongs to me, a song called Calypso Warrior. Yeah, she's the only female and she made it to the finals, and I believe she will. More amateur stuff.
The games you play, what sort of stuff?
It's cinema, like the cinema,
Right. Later on that, you get to pass the time at the end.
Yeah.
What's the name to the people who the program and stuff like that, yeah? What's the name? Okay, and see how they're going. Okay. Yeah. Good development. In my we met them there. So I was taking. And after that, went to town because they always supported me by moving on. Well, Napu was a good friend and a great musician. He and Napu died. Melody yang It's all right.
The subject. That is helpful.
Things like composition, stuff like that. So what advice would you give to aspiring?
Sort of song community something like that. They want me to sing it or I want to. If it's a good enough to put them on the altar, then go forward with it and, find something. Well, be careful you want to be careful what you feel on the top. When you're walking, especially this time, you have to be careful. Well, last year some fly with me. The title mocked him about because he's a air hostess. So I came up with the idea.
So that's especially with you. Some of the arrangers and musicians you have worked with over the years.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned that, I would like to say a special thanks to the musicians, all the musicians and the arrangers, the different people in the musical circle that I've worked with over the years, Leston Paul, Ed Watson, Pelham Goddard, Roy, Fortune Reese, all the people, a special thanks. Because, without them, my music wouldn't be sung sweet too, I alone can make it sung sweet too.
They have to put music to the lyrics.
Yeah.
In post-World War, Trinidad and Tobago, we have had the music changing several times. First you had the post-World War era, and then from 56 you had the Sparrow era. In 62, Kitchener came back in 63, and had a Sparrow Kitchener era. However, in the 70s, people like Shorty, Maestro, and Shadow again changed the music. And in the 80s, people like Campbell, comedy and calypso, and the Pekong and stuff like that. It is no more. What is happening?
Well, I think, I wouldn't say because it's a guy, I say for nothing, I say because, we're getting awards, Soca awards all about, all over. It's okay for that. Yeah, it's okay for that. We may have a gentleman once said to me in London, one of the reasons our music kind of because of the stories we tell in songs, Sometimes you can relate to it here, but sometimes you can't relate. So especially the political songs. Yeah, especially the political songs. Right, that's all fun. 1985, I had my album was Rocket Television Collection, and Crazy one the road man that day with that song called Talking to Queen. But the people in London wanted, some people in London wanted the top song, but they cannot give it to me. You understand? Now, I was right in the garden. Would you like to rock it? I was singing, I was properly well. Now, we try to picture a traditional singing a song about a city in London, so I think it's a cool over there,
In terms of political ranking, unfortunately, because of my tenure too, I'm not overly familiar with those before World War II. But looking at people like coming from the work, people like Orban Roberts, Kitchener, Winston Daly, Shadow, tremendous writers. And if a top 5 writers of all time, even a top 10, are to be compiled, the name Dennis Franklin Williams will be among those.
Well, I hope so. But there's GB and these fellas, GB is, well, I say, when people ask me, people often listen to people ask me, what you do, who's the right, but right here. Well, as far as I can tell, GB going for the GB Joker, well, he's a friend of mine for over the years now, and I know how good he is, and he's about the best they have.
So you consider him the greatest?
The best. Going for the game, I consider him the best, And then we have Shadow, Kitchen, and these fellas. These fellas are great, they all... Yeah.
What were you close to people like 𝐾𝐔𝐕
I hardly knew, I'll get to meet 𝐾𝐔𝐕 one or two times, but I hardly knew that point.
But as a young boy, you were familiar with spoiler music and
Yeah, spoiler was, but I had a hell of an imagination. He was something else. It's like singing type. I was imagine people talking backward and spoiler was, oh boy. Yeah, he was.
After the attempted coup of 1990, one of your songs, one of the earlier recordings, in fact it was from 1982, came back and it was more like a test piece. And in fact, it really played after every election, Come Let Us Build a Nation. It's one of the great nation-building songs of all time.
So that was a production of the Network
With a Man.
Network with a Man, but the Resistance and Forever Mandela. We got together.
American, it has been a hard life, trials and tribulations, struggling to survive. Some bright points. What are some memorable moments in your life?
Yeah, well, you have been lost for words. Anyhow, before we sign off, I want to say again a special thanks to the people that took care of me. San Fernando General Hospital, Dr. Adu and staff. And I want to say a special hello to a special family. The Bruce family of Korea Road, Superior, and to a good friend Vicky. Stay up.
Okay, I'm coming back to that question. Some memorable moments, some moments that you really treasure throughout your career.
Oh, you want?
A memorable moment, a performance or something that you really hold
well, since I've been singing a song for the Mona Prize, I think that is the two. Every Californian's dream is to get picked to sing in the Savannah or to win the road match. And I sang twice for the crown. First year was 1978 with Norman. I came fourth. And 1985, Pan in Danger Caribbean Connection, I came third. So twice I was
in the big yard.
Yeah, the big yard twice.
And those were big moments.
Yeah, very, very big moments.
Okay, Milton, thank you very much for being a part of Music from the Pen of Dennis Franklin Williams, the Milton.
It's been a pleasure.
Any final words to your fans?
Well, look out for me in 1995. When you hear from me, when you hear 95, when you hear from Bali, Crazy, and one or two other tracks, you'll be hearing from the pen of Milton.
Yeah. Milton, all the best, and may God bless.
Thank you.